10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the rocket pool community. My name is Wack. Today is September 12th, and we're going to start today's episode with this really interesting image here shared by the Rocket Pool Twitter account. The text says, "We agree with Vitalik Buterin's keynote at the Ethereum Singapore conference. Improving staking decentralization is urgent." And then it goes on to say, "Was great to chat about how Rocket Pool is continuing to lead the way and push the boundaries of permissionless node operating." So here we have an image then, and in the image over here on the left we have Grant, and then there's Dave, and next to Dave is Nick, and then I think that's Kane hiding behind Vitalik. Vitalik popped by the Rocket Pool booth and was talking to the team members about how they are decentralizing Ethereum and helping that happen. So it's really amazing that Vitalik, had this connection with the Rocket Pool team. Of course, the last time Vitalik mentioned Rocket Pool or anything like Rocket Pool was from 2019, when Vitalik said, the Rocket Pool are doing a great job in helping decentralize Ethereum at the time. Something along those lines is a famous tweet in the Rocket Pool community. Anyway, this is the first time that there's been any kind of connection between the team and Vitalik. So this is really amazing to see, and it's like a hero moment. I'm sure like I would have been fangirling so hard, but a whole lot of people responded to this saying, I said I love everything here. People said this is an amazing picture, and did we orange pill Vitalik? But I really like this, and I'm really happy that we got this, and it's really awesome to see that Vitalik is hopefully getting more vocal about like the not Lido stance, and it seems like before we had other developers kind of on this position, and having Vitalik there now is just like one step further forward. I'm really hoping that Vitalik's opinions can help change some of the discourse, but not only that, but like actual minds of people, and they actually start thinking seriously about moving away from Lido and instead moving towards other decentralized services, whether that's Rocket Pool or others. There's not really that many others out there at the moment that do what Rocket Pool does, but hopefully Rocket Pool is the way that people go until Rocket Pool gets big enough, and then let's go to the others after that. Well, whichever one you want. Okay, so here Pateris said, what did Vitalik say or ask? And this is screenshots from the meme channel, by the way, so that should tell you where we're starting here. Kane said he asked when marketing, and then Butter replied by saying, Kane, can you be serious for once? We're asking honest questions. So then Kane replied by saying, we shared his sentiment about decentralizing staking, which he agreed with. We told him what we're doing, and he said, good job, etc. And then Butter replied by saying, my previous response was a joke, but thank you for the answer, my friend. So yeah, that was nice. And then we actually got some actual memes. Sleety here says, guys, it's been nearly 12 hours and no Vitalik with Rocket Pool memes yet. So then he said, let me get started. And here is the meme of this is a Mav doing a shoey, and yeah, from Atlas launch night. I think that was from Redstone actually. That was from Redstone. So that's a nice little meme that Sleety started with, and then of course we started getting others here. Schifrin said, "Why they're laughing? All of my ETH is staked with Stader." And then Dr. Doofus showed the picture of Vitalik, with the item in his pocket that made it look like other things. And then Vitalik pulling like an upset face, like a grossed out face. Here we have a picture of Darren from ETH Denver, I think it was, with a guy from Stader, and just being like, yeah. And we got some more as well. Let me see if I've got them open here. Yeah, if you just scroll down past the memes, you'll see this one's a good one with Vitalik's account getting hacked Twitter post there on the screen. So yeah, definitely read about that if you want, but just enjoy the memes otherwise. and see what happens. Okay, of course, there's the Ethereum Singapore conference happening, which is what we were just talking about. That's where Vitalik met with the Rocket Pool team. But here we had Blitzio saying, great presentation by Langas earlier at the Ethereum Singapore conference, educating the community about Rocket Pool. It was great also to see Maverick and the rest of the team at the booth. See you guys again tomorrow, which is really cool. So here there was a screen that Langas was speaking in front of, saying, what is Rocket Pool? And this is like liquid staking and node staking. I think this is probably similar to the speech that he gave at ETH Denver. I remember seeing that slide before, so that's really cool. And then there was more pictures as well. Another conference is also happening at the same time. That's Permissionless Round 2. The second part of Permissionlessness is taking place in Austin, Texas this year. And one of our own, Ken, was speaking. One of the panels that he was talking at was called Will the LST Wars Kill Ethereum? And this was, there was someone from Coinbase here. Ken, of course, representing the Rocket Pool community, a person representing Stakewise, and then someone from EtherFi was moderating it. And then here's the registration for Permissionless 2. Those queues are not as long as the ETH Denver queues. And here's a picture from Ken's panel discussion. The Hans Gruber posted this. So it looks like there's some cool stuff happening. I'm getting serious FOMO, especially meeting Vitalik would have been an absolute dream of mine. But hopefully we can see Vitalik in ETH Denver next year. And sending out best wishes to Ken for his permissionless stint as well. So thanks everyone for that. Oh, that's a little bit more about Ken's session as well. Okay, next I'm going to talk about the GMC for a few minutes. As you all know, the September award period has ended. So the period was a little bit smaller this time. It ran from the 1st of September to the 9th of September. The GMC is already discussing the applications that were made during this period. However, what I wanted you to know is that the next GMC reward period is now also open. The deadline for this period is October 7th. So any applications that you put in there now will be opened closed on October 7th. So you've got a few weeks, or nearly a month there to put in your applications. They won't be judged in this round. That has already closed, but you'll have to wait a month and a half to get the results for those applications. But this is the beautiful thing about the rolling submission system now, is that you can basically apply any time for a grant, and the longest you'll have to wait to get your results is about 7 weeks. And if you do it closer to that deadline, then you could have your results within 3 weeks. So I'm really happy about this. We've already got a retrospective award that has come in, application for retrospective award. Waldorf has put a placeholder here for Rocket Watch's fake link warning. So there was a thing on Twitter a few weeks ago on Discord a few weeks ago where people were able to put in a link that looked like a website, but the actual link was different from that, and Invid made a bot about that. I think I covered it on Rocket Fuel, but I'm not sure. But for the previous round we had 8 grant applications, which you can see here. 7 grant applications. We had some retroactive awards applications, and then we also had no bounties in this time. So if you are interested about that, then definitely go and check it out, and read up on the rewards that the GMC is considering this time, but also look for the stuff next time if you want to apply for any of the grants that we have available. And speaking about grants, then here we have the GMC's appeal against the GMC's decision for Rocket Split, and that has now passed the vote. There was it was 63.5% in favor of that passing, 35.5% abstained, 1% basically voted against, and it reached quorum quite easily. The reason why I'm talking about this today is because if you voted on this, there is a POAP you can get saying I voted. So definitely go and get that POAP if you are curious at all about this. So that was really nice. Thank you for putting that together. I think it's Schifrin's POAP, I think, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, next we've got a couple of client update news. So the big one was from Go Ethereum, who write Geth. So here it says it's been 6 years in the making, but Geth version 1.13.0 with proper state pruning is finally released. Faster, lighter, and more robust than ever. Opt-in via --state.scheme equals path. This will, however, need a resync. And it says keep ancient. So there's also then a blog post that goes here with this here on ethereum.org. It says Geth version 1.13.0. And it says Geth comes very close to the heels of 1.12 release family, which is funky considering its main feature has been development for a cool 6 years now. This post will go into a number of technical and historical details, but if you just want the gist of it, then Geth 1.13 ships with a new database model for storing the Ethereum state, which is both faster than the previous scheme and also has proper pruning implemented, which means that you don't need to take your node offline to remove any junk space. It does it all online. So here you got some info about how quickly it syncs. It takes about 6 hours and 20 minutes. The database size is 226 gigabytes, and the database writes are 1.34 terabytes. So definitely keep that in mind if you are a Geth user, which you shouldn't be anymore. If you're on Rocket Pool, like, please go to Nethermind or Bisu. But if you are a Geth user, then you can update this by changing the flags in your TUI. I think there'll be a new smart node stack released soon. But and also if you're interested in the gory tech details, as they call it here, you can go give the blog post a read and get all the information you need from there. Okay, another update we have, of course, is by Nimbus here, who is a consensus client, and this is version 23.9.0. Nimbus is low urgency upgrade, providing full support for the upcoming Holeshki testnet and simplifying the required configuration for using remote signers. And that's true of Geth also. 1.13 is ready for Holeshki testnet, so you just need to set the right flags. We had flag information from Rocknet. He says if you use --Holeshki, then it has that support ready there for you as well if you need that. Okay, next we have this news of integration that the Rocket Pool intern on Twitter shared, saying the new DeFi product featuring RPL, do your own research first. So here we have, I don't know anything about this product, so I can't vouch for it. Me mentioning here is not any kind of endorsement. Here it says, exciting news today, we're introducing a newest offering, the ETH Stakers Vault. Tap into the growth of the liquid staking industry backed by a solid risk managed approach. So this is new to, I think it's called Sega. At CEGA. Quick repack, Sega is your destination for decentralized structured investment, providing high fixed yields on USDC. We purchased over $300 million in trading volume, and our vaults are accessible on Ethereum, Arbitrum, and Solana. Now let's explore the vault. So here there's the ETH Stakers Vault. It has exposure to Lido's LDO, RPL, and STETH. There's a 50% price reduction. I'm not sure exactly how it works. So if you are interested in doing this, then they have a link to their app where you can kind of, I guess, look at how it works and get some more information there. So good luck if you decide to do that. I'm not touching it. Okay, next we have this update from Mippo. Mippo is one of the hosts of the Bell Curve podcast, which is quite a big crypto podcast. And he says, need to give some credit to Rocket Pool. In the last season of Bell Curve, we talked about the origin of LSTs in Cosmos, and he gives a hat tip to Felix LTS. And then Mippo says, being pointed out to me that an early primitive, though not exactly LST, existed on Rocket Pool first. So he goes on to explain. There's a blog post here from Dave from 2017 saying the title is Rocket Pool, widow addresses, deposit tokens, and token sales. And then, he says the token deposits, RPDs, outlined in this paper look sort of like an early primitive form of modern LSTs. Okay, then Mippo goes on to say, keep in mind that 2017 was very early in the history of staking pool operators. Ethereum was still a proof of work chain. Even the earliest attempts that transition to proof of stake Casper was still in the early stages of development. All this is to say that Rocket Pool was on the cutting edge at the time. So then it goes on to give some more information about how Rocket Pool is going to be setting up its like proto LST, and then saying that RPDs differ from modern LSTs like RETH in at least two important ways. First is that they don't bear any yield, and RPDs are a mechanism that allows stakers to sell out of their position, as opposed to LSTs, which allow holders to keep their stake without sacrificing capital efficiency. And then it says, if you're skipping to the end, here's a TLDR. Rocket Pool is an early innovator in staking pools and deserve more credit in this season. They had a kind of primitive version of LSTs back in 2017, albeit with key differences. And he says that credit for LSTs in the form that we know now still goes to Felix. And there's an image of how that works, and that's from 2019. So it seems like, a lot of people were kind of like sleeping on the fact that Rocket Pool put out so much good work, especially in the earlier period of Ethereum's history, and they were like really on the cutting edge of that. So I guess Felix is actually this person, Felix Lutz, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, who's a staking advisor at Chorus One, a co-host of Epic Center BTC. So yeah. Okay, a quick update on the Ethereum validator queue. I know I said that I wasn't going to be doing that much, but the validator queue is now at 14 days. So it was actually less than 2 weeks for a point there. This queue is getting shorter and shorter. So I'm really hoping that, we can see the lesser impact of the queue on node operators' decision to start a new validator. 2 weeks here, of course, is like no time at all. So the amounts that you would lose by reducing your bond or any of that, like your window is getting bigger and bigger at the start of a rewards period. You've got nearly like 10 or 11 days now quite comfortably to reduce any bond if you're a Rocket Pool node operator and still keep all of your RPL rewards for the following month. Okay, next I wanted to talk about this tweet and this discussion that kind of came up from it. So here we have Dimitri had a picture of himself and Langas from the Rocket Pool team, of course, and the caption was Lido Finance plus Rocket Pool equals love, and it's a picture of Dimitri and Langas giving each other a hug with their arms around each other. Jasper says, at the end of the day, we both want to decentralize and perpetuate Ethereum, even if we disagree on the steps to getting there. And then Liam here had some interesting comments. Liam's on the Scroll team, I think, and he says maybe the LST community wouldn't have become the toxic sex pool it is today if this culture was embraced on crypto Twitter in the same way that it is in person. And yes, I have refrained from signaling out the obvious community at fault here, insinuating that it's the Rocket Pool community's fault. Jasper says, I think Rocket Pool gets flack whenever anyone says anything against Lido, which is kind of bullshit. People believe the very nature of Ethereum is at risk and will defend that vehemently. Also, I've yet to see Lido be positive some with the other LSTs, whereas most Rocket Pool folk regularly boost the new minority players. So yeah, I strongly disagree with your assessment. The only cesspool is the Lido self-limiting debate. And then Jasper goes on to say Lido could learn a lot from the way Prism handled their supermajority by supporting the smaller players. And Liam says, I think Rocket Pool gets flat, kind of replying to Jasper here. He says, that's what happens when select influence foster and normalize a strong toxic culture around a specific product, even when it's in the name of decentralization. And he says, sure, the Rocket Pool community is now boosting other LSTs to some extent, but that only came after receiving pushback on the toxicity. Previously, the Rocket Pool community spent months, 1, hazing competing tech, such as DVT, Stader, and Swell, and 2, continuously calling for the death of Lido. Jasper replied to the hazing comment, saying, I don't know of anyone from the Rocket Pool community talking down about Swell or DVT. Neither do I. And then he says, Stader broke copyright law and was rightly called out, but since then it's been positive, which is, I totally agree with that. And it's the same, on my channel. And he says, this doesn't start because Rocket Pool was called out for it. Rocket Pool is a strong supporter of Stakewise for years, have supported Diva for many months, hosted call with EtherFi and more. Frankly, Rocket Pool has done more for LST competitors than anyone else, yet you constantly paint to us as the bad guys. And then Liam says, "Sir, y'all were very publicly bearish on DVT up until Rocket Pool had a certain urge to integrate it. I also vividly remember members of the Rocket Pool community dunking on Swell when they had to restructure their architecture after a beta launch." And Jasper says, "That's BS. I dedicated an entire section to scaling with DVT in my major essay on Rocket Pool last year. The teams have been in discussion longer. I called out Lido using DVT as a silver bullet, which it's not. Maybe that's the confusion. Dunking on Swell. Show your receipts. I don't believe you. Many in the Rocket Pool community participated in the Swell voyage." And then he says, "Yes, you did dedicate the section of your essay to DVT. It's starting to become a popular narrative. I'm well aware. I'm referring to comments made long before that." And then Jasper says, "Look at that. The more public Rocket Pool collaboration to work with DVT tech even earlier. Do you see why this bothers me? There's so much history that you were either willfully ignoring or gaslighting out of existence." And here there's a comment from Yorick saying, "Rosalind Blue has put together a proposal to be put before the Blocks DAO to create a design integrating DV with Rocket Pool. Could you take a look and weigh in?" And this is from January 2022. And then Jasper says, "When you mean I point out DVT won't solve Lido's scaling issues, that remains true. Other than that, I and all the Rocket Pool have been fully in praise of DVT. I seriously don't understand where you're coming from." That was my first ever comments about DVT as of April 2022. Will enable many great security optimizations. But shall tell me again how we're hopping on the narrative. And then this discussion carried on the Daily Way Discord, saying, "I'd like to chat about this. I don't understand your beliefs about Rocket Pool. The community has done more for LST diversity than anyone else, and it's not even close. Lido has never supported a competitor yet. Rocket Pool collaborates on governance, open source smart node used by many, collaborated on marketing, etc. And the only thing we do is call out bad actors, which you can dislike, but to insinuate Rocket Pool community is now boosting other LSPs to some extent, but only after receiving negative pushback on toxicity." And then about how, that kind of discussion. So then Liam came here and kind of continued the discussion. I'm not going to go through all because I already went through so much of it, but definitely go here and read these comments if you are all interested in this back and forth, because it seems like there's some misinformation out there about Rocket Pool, and we can kind of like work together to fix some of those misconceptions that Jasper's doing such a good job of addressing here. So yeah, I'm just going to end the episode on that point. I hope you all like my new microphone cover. It's got my Rocket Fuel logo on it. It was kindly donated by given as a gift by Evan. So thank you so much, Evan, for the microphone cover. I'm back home now, as you can see, with my usual setup, and hopefully the audio quality is better today, and hopefully the audio quality is better today, and you can see my face as well. So that's all good, and I hope you all had a lovely weekend, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.